I'm saying is that in order that you have to develop these things nowadays, you have to teach these kokas nowadays. You're gonna just start straight 5 years. Keep saying and saying and saying Chumash, saying and saying and saying Mishnah. You're gonna develop robots that they don't know there's such a thing as thinking. Now, and
can I say a word here? I once heard from a great person that we've yet to see any greatness come out of the Zilberman clique. We've yet to. It's been going on for quite a number of years. We haven't seen any, maybe comment on this idea.
Well, you see, I don't know, maybe, I really can't say, because maybe you'll go take somebody out of this. Like, take a Avrech of 22 years old from them, and maybe you'll find that he knows the whole shot.
We're talking 20 years later.
I don't know what to say.
My son-in-law's brother-in-law is from the club, from this Zilberman people. Rosen.
Oh.
Rabbi Rosen.
Like, let's say you'll go over to one of them, and you ask him, what kind of sense does this make that you, Shalom Midas, have a yush? The person lost something, doesn't know that he lost it. It wasn't miyayish yet. And you say, because in the future we know he's going to be miyayish, so it's already now mutter. And yush is hefker, and he didn't know, he didn't make this hefker. So what sense does it make? You'll ask such a thing. I think, according to the little bit of that I know about them, that they won't even know that, there's such a thing as asking a question. What is the question? It's a good question. What are we going to do now? They didn't even know there's such a thing. Now, I don't want to talk too much about something I don't know. But now, once this was developed by him, so because of that, the Doros Achronim changed this Seder of the Mishnah of Ben Chomesh, Ben Eser, and Ben Chameshes. Am I saying that in our Chadorim and Yeshivas it's perfect? Far from it. Very far from being perfect. In our Chadorim, they forgot the concept of Chazorah. They forgot the concept of being a Baki in Mikra and in Mishnah. There's a lot there is to correct in our Chadorim. Now, there was such a thing that I think it was the Kletsky family started a new thing called Zichru Torahs Moshe. It's Chadorim, the whole system. And then in between, you can be with the system within the regular system of Chadorim. And they corrected this, that you do a lot of Chazorah. Now, my grandson, see over here, I'm falling into the trap of talking about myself. But there sometimes you're allowed to this. I'm very sensitive to this problem. Of talking about yourself, but I think sometimes you're allowed. So my grandson goes to one of these Chadorim that are called Shitas Zichru, which is in Kiryat Moshe. It's called Re'im, a branch of the Re'im in Harnov. And what do? They learn Chumash and they Chaz. Every day they learn the new Psuk, the new Chumash of that week. They will go over it 4 times, the next day again 4 times, the next day again 4 times. I don't know exactly what the Seder is, but he's 7.5 years old and he's cutting close to finishing Chumash Shmos. You can tell him any pasuk in Chumash Bereshis, the beginning of the pasuk, he'll be able to finish it for you. With the drop, with the niggin. Not because he's so brilliant, although he is brilliant. I think he's the biggest genius, my grandson. That's because it's mine. But he can say any pasuk because of all the chazars that they did, and this is missing in our chadorim. So I'm not saying that our chadorim are perfect, but I'm just explaining the theory and what's wrong with them. Now, because they went out with a milchoma against the regular system of chadorim, that made them into a cult. They became a group by themselves, starting from wanting to do exactly what the Maral and the Gross said and doing like the Mishnah said, and without having Havana and understanding and knowing what's the problems of the door is, and knowing how you have to build up and develop a person. Because of that, so not only that they changed their Shita Salim, but only they became a cult. And listen to what it says in this article. The zilberman people are not Chazonish people and not Brisker people. Now, this is an article from Makar Rishon. Is that what it is? Makar Rishon.
Yes.
Which is a very modern Orthodox newspaper. And those that they read this, they don't know what that means. But we know what it means. Now, there's two groups in Eretz Yisrael, the Chazonish people and the Brisker people, which are both very, very makpid on keeping halacha, but they're not this and they're not that. Anachnu lo chaim chaye halacha. Did you ever hear of such a language? We're not living chaye halacha. We're living chaye Torah.
Who is saying this?
This is from an interview of Echad me Rabbonei HaKehillah. Now, also again, I don't know if it's fair to take one line out of what was once said about and judge a whole community based on one line, but I think what they mean is, actually I don't know for sure what they mean, but that you can't be exact, that they of course they don't mean we don't keep halacha. No, that's definitely not what they mean. It says the diktuk halacha is a ner l'ragleinu. We try to stick to the halacha, but we're looking for the Ratzon Hashem. What is that? Like that sounds like the Midas Chasidus of the Mesilas Yesharim, that you don't just keep the halacha, you keep more than the halacha. Now, but that's not what they mean. They mean, if I understand correctly, that we can't do everything exactly the way Klal Yisrael does it. We have to know what's Ratzon Hashem means. For example, to say Chazar Sashatz and Yomim Nerum with skipping the piyutim. Ratzon Hashem is to daven. Now, I think just the opposite. The Klal Yisrael felt that on Yom Noraim and Rosh Hashanah we have to talk about Malchus. 11:45. Malchus. We have to talk about it so much that we can't just. It's not enough just the Shemona Esrei and the Chazar Shatz. We have to add piyutim. Hashem Melech, Hashem Molech, like there's a piyut. And we keep chazering over Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach over and over and over again, today to feel the concept of Malchus. So we are trying to connect to the Ratzon Hashem more than what the halacha asks from us. And what do? Forget, they skip, they don't say piyutim at all.
What about the Kriyas Shema from Baruch Hu?
Now, they also have such a thing. They go back to what it was in the time of Chazal, that the Birchas Krishma, the Tzibur doesn't say, the Tzibur just sits and listens. The Shliach Tzibur says the Birchas Krishma, and the Tzibur listens. It was like that in the time of Chazal, and it's mashma in the Bir Agro. My brother-in-law Chaim Shapiro showed my father in the Bir Agro that it seems that was the Taikonas Chachomim of of Birchas Krishma, that you should listen to it from the Shliach Tzibur. So what do? So they stick to the what? They stick to the halacha, the way it is in Chazal, which they call that Chaye Torah and not Chaye. I don't know what they're talking about, but we Klal Yisrael, with that go with Pshitas and Tumimus,
and the Shulchan Aruch,
we do that. We all say Birchas Krishma. Klal Yisrael has the feeling that each one has to say the Birchas Krishma by himself. And this feeling came down in the last few hundred years, that the Klal Yisrael doesn't want to do this anymore, to listen to the Shliach Tzibur. And I understand it, because we're too weak to arouse in ourselves the feelings that Birchas Krishma is supposed to arouse in ourselves.